the mic to talk. How's this?
Good.
Okay.
Good.
It's an experiment. I love to play outdoors in the woods. So I'm glad to have this opportunity. I'm just gonna put a little weight on this.
You mean grab something?
Yeah, sure.
Go.
A little clock on me. Make sure I don't lose track of time too much. So, my name is Leah Victoria. I'm currently based in New York City, but I did spend much of my childhood on the North Fork of Long Island. It's a pocket land. And a lot of my family's here today, so thank you for coming. It's their first time seeing me perform, most of them. I'm really grateful to be here at Ma's house. Thank you to Jeremy Dennis and Brianna Hernandez for having me. It's a really wonderful spot, and you know, to have a place like this out on Long Island, I didn't even know, you know, it'd be possible, so I'm really just grateful for this moment. For those who don't know me, I am a multidisciplinary artist, a painter, a comic illustrator, and musician and performer. Today, I'll be sharing with you some new songs I wrote while I was here the last couple days. Grateful to have been able to use the house accordion here, something I don't typically have access to. So it was fun to play around with that, even if it's a little broken. That's okay. All my instruments are a little broken. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I think my flute is still inside. I will be right back. It's being held together with some wood glue and rubber bands, so it's not perfect, but it still kind of functions. And this, of course, is the classic Andean instrument, the slide whistle. I did prepare some writing that I'm going to read to you as well. I don't typically read from notes. I usually go off on my own. Oh, and that's my brother. Hey, Jeremy. I'll try to do my best to stay on script, though. We'll see. Oh, yes, there's two Jeremys. Who's the other one? So something I like to do is to take traditional instruments and distort them slightly in a modern way. So the accordion for me is nostalgic of Ecuadorian Sierra music. Casillos use accordions. They were brought over by the Spanish, but it's been integrated into the culture for several hundred years. And flutes, well, flutes bring me back to a time hundreds and hundreds of years ago. When I hear flute music, I feel like it's something I've always known. The spoken language of my Cañari ancestors may have been lost over the centuries, replaced by Quechua and Espanol during the age of the Inquisition. But the musical sounds of all three worlds carry on in La Música Ecuatoriana de la Sierra. Sounds of the accordion coupled with the melancholic singing of pasillos and San Juanitos unlock core memories from my early childhood, while certain sounds of the flute take me back hundreds of years to a place I seem to know all too well. That was on script. Quite lighthearted.
I was in Ecuador when the Western world got their first hit of COVID-19 pandemic. My tío sat watching the news as my tío brought us fresh picked maracuya for desayuno. There is a cruise ship being quarantined off the coast, and cases are spreading around Seattle, the news boasts. Nueva York, ¿verdad? My tía asked. ¿No le tienes miedo de los chinos? In 3 weeks' time, bodies will be piling up in the streets of Guayaquil. In 9 weeks' time, my tío will be put on a ventilator. In 10 weeks' time, the virus will finally reach the previously unpenetrated outskirts of the Amazon, where the tribal leaders will perish.
I had just spent the past 10 days in La Selva outside of Macas after over a decade of subtle spiritual persuasion from my Achuar ancestors. Their medicine had now been commodified in the form of ayahuasca tourism, peddled by white men from Jacksonville who make sure to tell me they're not racist as they go on to belittle the Indigena Ecuatoriana tour guide they hired for not being subservient enough. If only she was more like the maid, he says. On the plane ride back to JFK, 3 days before lockdown and border closings, I dream of flying over Turtle Island. Cars are driving on 4-lane highways off cliffs into the sea. Fields of corn crops are burning. The large mammals of the ocean have marooned themselves onto the land. Gulls squawk. Mary Lynn, the non-subservient tour guide from Macas, turns to me and says, "Look, do you see what I see?"
After a cancelled cross-country tour and no lease to return to, I spent the first 3 months of lockdown with my grandparents on the north shore of Long Island. This is the Setauket settlement where old townhouses erect proud 13-colony flags and indigenous burial sites remain unmarked. Around the corner of their house is a street filled with families from the original Setauket tribe, a neighborhood nestled away between warring neighbors with 50-foot Trump banners and signs that read, "In this house we believe love is love is love is love is love." The Black Lives Matter movement of spring-summer 2020 mobilized me to return to New York City and take part in the world around me again. As I biked over the Williamsburg Bridge, behind a sea of chants, I see a large billboard on display with the words, "You are your ancestors' wildest dreams," and I feel a sense of relief knowing that I am home. I once was a man who carved 4 stones a day. They turned into lambs and scampered away. I used their long wool to cover my face. I fought till the end to hide my disgrace. She held me full moon while watching me rest. Started cutting my hairs and began to undress. Shook off my old wounds and gave me a pat. Lost myself knowing you can't come for that. You can't come for that. And I sit as you finish this. And I sit as you finish this. And I
and left me off for dead. And I am so afraid of nothing. She held the full moon while watching me to rest. Started cutting my hair as I began to undress. Shook off my wounds and made me a path. Lost myself knowing you can't come for that. You walk backwards and forwards till you slipped away. You broke me apart again. You were covered in blood, but it was okay. Lost myself knowing you can't go, you can't go, you can't go. And I said, as you finish this, I said, as you finish this, and I'm so sick of this, and I'm so sick of this, and I'm so sick of this, I'm so afraid of After a month of staying with a friend in Crown Heights, I find an affordable room in Greenpoint. It is a historically Polish neighborhood, shared by young punks born into upper-middle-class families, many of who have since fled for greener pastures out west, the remainder of which have stayed behind to raise their loving families. Greenpoint is the site of a toxic chemical spill, but due to its adjacency to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, rents go upwards of $4,000 to $6,000 a room. I'm immediately priced out. In between apartments, I stay with my uncle in a rent-stabilized cooperative near a section of Midtown now known as Hudson Yards, a site built to generate tourism, best known as a spot where for $10 visitors can choose to return their souls back to the earth for a 150-foot drop. During the darkest days of COVID winter, I walk to the edge of the water and look across the Hudson towards Weehawken. I watch an elder man bathing in the cold water of the river and feel connected to him in this moment. early springtime. The promise of a vaccinated and COVID-free future is in the air, and I have found a place to live in Flatbush, on the very street my Bubby grew up on after relocating from Bedford to Stuyvesant in her youth. Now known as Little Haiti, this corner of Brooklyn has the best roti I've ever had. I spend many afternoons in Prospect Park, as my grandmother once did, feeling blessed and at peace in this vibrant community, a place where every single citizen of Brooklyn from all walks of life come to congregate and celebrate and be with each other. I'm immediately priced out. find my way up north, out of the city, into the mid-Hudson Valley. I'm on a year-long lease in a house in the mountains in the woods. I have 2 roommates, one who is in an enamorous relationship with her grief, and the other who is in an enamorous relationship with her guilt. I take respite to the woods. I see the changing seasons day in and out, the first snow, the first bloom. Bobcats, coyotes, and bald eagles slip in and out of sight and sound. Sometimes the woods, they hold my own grief, my fears, my cries, out into the atmosphere. I think of them every day. In this time, I work for a large settler family-owned farm, an apple orchard and grand tourist attraction for city folks wishing to get a taste of the country life. The farm manager is a white man from South Africa, and his farm hands are black Jamaicans with working visas. The customer-facing staff are two white women named Tina and Tiffany. My role here is to spend hours alone in the greenhouse, tending to the weeds and the dirt. I enjoy it. I spend my hours listening to podcasts narrated by Indigenous women and feel united with them. Tina runs an Etsy shop that has taken off since the pandemic and spends her mornings on the farm complaining and tending to her orders. When it comes time to shift the blame as to why her leg of the work did not get accomplished, her fingers point towards me. Upon being released from this job, I am able to tour again. I travel up and down the East Coast with my close friend, who is also a seer. When we enter a city, she is able to tell me if the spirits of the land are well or not. Most of them are not. We encounter spirits of the unwell dead in nearly every city we pass through. My dear friend gets sick from our stays in Chapel Hill and Baltimore in particular. And at various points we pull off the side of the road so that we can brush the darkness off each other. I continue these travels alone throughout the coming months, playing music for loving groups of people along the way. Portland, Maine and Atlanta, Georgia seemed well in spirit, the tiny glimpse of them I got. The drive through rural Pennsylvania between Binghamton and Pittsburgh was not. And Florida, oh Florida, the spirits of the land are not happy in the central lands of Florida. Sorry, start that one over. you.
Bravo!
Thanks for coming. We have an extra 10 minutes if anyone asks me anything or whatever. Look at my thing. I'm here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it.